Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, and welcome back to part 9 of the Inquisitor path for the life and suffering of Sir Brante. When we last left off, we had just seen that there's a lot of strife going on in the Empire. The new faith is growing stronger, and the old faith isn't happy, and the commoners are getting more laws, and the nobles aren't happy. And we're stuck in the middle of this, studying for exams to apply for college. So, the girl from your past, 1135, chapter 3. We are 17 years of age. I'm Jordan Brante. Let's jump in. It is early morning. You have been awake since sunrise, studying. There's a knock at the door. It is a letter from home, or a hotel servant. You open the door and freeze, stunned. Hello, Brante. Hello, Sofia. If you remember Sofia, we saved her life from horses and died the first time, and also saved her life again from Doris Otten in the adolescence chapter. Before you stands Sofia, the girl who used to live next door. She is all grown up now. She looks so different, but you always recognize those blue eyes no matter what. You gesture for her to come in. Sofia enters the room, glances around and sits in an armchair. You eye the girl you used to know as you sit across from her. But the young woman you see now has little in common with the girl you used to know. There is cold steel in the way she looks at things. Her hair is cut short. But what is she doing? I can explain. I've been living in Eterna for a long time now, ever since I ran from Anizot. I heard the other day that you'd left for the capital to get into college, so I found you and here I am. You ask how Sofia learned about your arrival and where you are staying, but she answers your questions with an enigmatic smile. Oh, we'll get to that later. Right now I want to see how much you've changed since we last saw each other. As for now, and as for me, I've changed a lot. I'm a whole different person now. You look away as you recall your previous encounter back when Sofia ran away from her Arknian master. Sofia chuckles as she continues. Would you like to know what happened next? I travelled through the entire empire all alone. I had nothing. My journey ended only when I reached this place, the capital, with all its important people and events. This is the heart of the empire. It's a place where I can make a difference. I've made friends here, from people I can truly call my family. I've even gotten an education of sorts, and now I have a purpose. I have fight against injustice. I fight against the lots. I fight those who treat our lives like mud on the pavement. And no, I'm not afraid to tell you that. I came to you for a good reason. I need help. I know you. I have faith in your good heart. And besides, this is also about the Imperial College you want to enroll in. Well, actually, we're going to go to the seminary. There's a scholar there by the name of Bartholomew Dextra. He teaches natural sciences at the college. Dextra is an old man, but he's quite progressive. He'll stop at nothing to advance science and acquire new knowledge. As you know, only second-generation nobles or above are allowed to teach at the college, but Dextra, he's a commoner. He forged his patent of nobility to get a position at the college, but the secret chancellery recently learned of this. Dextra is about to face true death for this forgery. But how is this justice? A man who wants to teach people, and for this they're going to take all his lives. They're going to punish him for the crime of being born in the wrong estate. It's evil and obscene, and I will not stand for it. Dextra deserves to be rescued. But I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I need your help. You're from a rich family. You're almost a noble, and if you help me get Dextra out of the city, nobody will suspect anything. No one will know, and the scholar will live on to continue his research elsewhere, far away from the secret chancellery. Will you help me? You feel perplexed by Sofia's sudden request. She is asking you to break imperial law and undermine the work of the secret chancellery to save this scholar. Rescuing Dextra would be an adventure, but it would also be incredibly dangerous. And besides, Dextra is a fake noble. He resorted to lies and deceit to get his current position. How much does he matter to you? Sofia's blue eyes are studying you, waiting for your reply. So we can't assuage our guilt. Where we could turn her over to Otten. Or because we turned her over to Otten, sorry. So we can't do that. That's fine. I was worried that we didn't have that choice, but actually it's good because we don't have it because we didn't give her over to Otten. We could refuse her, which will give us valor and diplomacy, but Sofia will go down. Or we can help her, which gives us scheming and valor, and Sofia likes us even more. This is an interesting one because none of it actually affects our path as a priest. Do I want scheming and valor, or do I want diplomacy and valor? I mean, I don't think Sofia is important to the priest, so I shouldn't really care about her opinion of me. Oh, I kind of really want diplomacy, to be honest. I don't think I'll need scheming and valor. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to refuse. He made his bed, he can sleep in it. I'm sorry, Sofia. There's no way you're going to rescue some false noble. He's just getting his just desserts. No, you say, you're not going to help Sofia. You're not going to break any laws for her sake. You did not come to the capital for this. Dexter, a fake noble, deserves his fate. He tried to fool the law, the college, and the empire itself. Even a scientific genius must be punished for such forgery and deception. He had a paper that said he was a noble, but as only a sacrament can make a person a noble, so Dexter's crime is also an affront to the gods themselves. Sofia leaps to her feet, her eyes burning with wrath, about to shine with yellow light again. You cringe involuntarily. I forgot you had magic. Your law makes slaves of us all. We are born, we live, and we die, all to serve those who were born in a higher estate. Is this the order you want to protect? The fire in Sofia's eyes fades. She suddenly grows silent, then continues calmly. Then so be it. I don't blame you. It's not easy to break these chains when you've been wearing them ever since you were born. They bind you better than any magic. I hope you realize this better before our great empire chews you and spits you out. Goodbye. Sofia leaves. The door shuts behind her. You return to your books. The entrance exam is coming up and you have to work hard if you want to achieve your goals. That's a shame about Sofia, but anyway. A few days later, a newspaper article catches your eye. Bartholomew Dexter, an elderly lecturer at the Imperial College, was arrested while attempting to escape the capital. The scholar was sentenced to breaking on the wheel and subsequent true death for forging a patent of nobility, and so the fake noble suffered in death as he was supposed to suffer in life. But diplomacy has gone up, which is good. I'm happy with that. I don't really care for valor.
I will never forget that day, for it was then that I chose the path I would walk for the rest of my life.
And here we are. Decision time, I think. I'm just thinking, actually, you know, when we unlock the occupation tab, I wonder will it be, because in the noble it's career and justice, so I wonder if it will be becoming becoming patriarch of Magla, as well as New Fate, Old Fate. But anyway, we shall see. There's 3 lots. There are only a few days left until the Imperial College entrance exam. History, law, theology. You spend all day reading and rereading the books you brought with you, staying at the Library of Eternia for hours until it closes. As the day of the exam approaches, your hands start shaking more and more, and finally the day comes. A clear sky hangs over Eternia today. The breeze is warm. You dress in your best outfit, a grey jacket and velvet culotte trousers. You comb your hair carefully and polish your boots until they shine. You leave the lodging house and head for the Imperial College. Your legs grow heavier with each step. Your anxiety at the fact that your fate will be decided today is virtually tearing you apart. The college is a majestic building that looks not unlike a castle. In the square in front of it you already see several dozen people, young men, sons of nobles of the mantle like you, waiting for the college doors to open. Time slows to a crawl. At last the doors open. A stately man dressed in a professor's mantle appears at the entrance. He is the dean of the college. The students-to-be fall silent as the dean gets ready to deliver his welcoming speech. But the silence is interrupted by heavy footsteps and clanking armor. A squadron of warriors emerge near the college, led by Arknian officers. Their banner bears an image of golden grains. The noble militia of Monia province. What are they doing here? Time to go to our map and find Monia. Monia, the bastion of the Arknian aristocracy, protected from the rest of the empire by the sea and a mountain ridge, it is the second oldest province of the empire. Here the noble traditions of yore are the strongest, and the lowly lot is denied all freedoms save those they absolutely require. The Monroe dynasty conquered Monia long ago and now reigns supreme in this impregnable province. So the noblemen of Monia are here, the Monroes it seems. The nobles of Monia form a circle around the college, each warrior moving quietly and precisely until a chain is formed. One of the Arknians is clad in an old-fashioned suit of armor. He is the leader of the militia. He locks the bar on the massive doors of the college at the place, then proceeds to the stairs to address the crowd loudly. Egerius Monroe. Commoners, before you stands Egerius of the Monroe dynasty, Archduke of Monia. By my will, the college is hereby closed, and today's entrance exam is cancelled. Your lowly origins make you unfit for the great honour of rendering service to the Empire, a right that is only to be allowed to the hereditary nobles of the sword. The college's reputation has been tarnished. It breeds mock nobles who bear not a trace of noble blood. You belong in the lowly estate, but have forgotten your place. Cornelius Tempest and the other traitors to the Empire are indulging you and defacing the institutions of the nobility for their lowly interests. A noble lot for those of lowly birth. How can this be? I will not stand for this disintegration of the Imperial Order. Now turn away from the college this instant and return to the humble trades of your ancestors. Plough your fields, mend your boots, and work and suffer by your lot. If any of you dare set foot upon these stairs, you will be killed at once. The students to be meet this speech with a stunned silence. The crowd in the square is growing. However, the news of the Monian noble militia and the college's closing spreads throughout the streets like wildfire. More humans join the crowd, college students, commoners, officials who worked hard to be ennobled. Unrest grows around you. You hear people calling to rush Archduke Monroe's forces to take control of the college and defend your right to become noble. The Emperor himself gave us this right, we have to fight for it. This is a decisive moment for all of you. The old gentry has challenged you. Will you accept this challenge? In the face of this shameful, illegal act by the Archduke's forces, you may prove that all of you deserve the noble lot. You will need to break through the cordon, get inside the college and take control of it. The nobles will never dare hurt you if your presence is strong enough. If you are ready to risk it all and fight for your right to the nobility, you will have to lead the charge. People keep coming to the square in the meantime, including students and teachers from the Divine Seminary. The lot of the clergy is to guide others to the right path. When the estates clash, the priests are bound to intervene. The seminary teachers instruct their students to form a line between the noble militia and the outraged crowd. The priests begin telling the warrior nobles and the riotous commoners to return to the preordained divine order, lest they provoke the wrath of the gods. The wrath of the gods. As the priests utter these words, the crowd around you disappears. A vision appears before your eyes. The Empire is ablaze. You see burning lands, steeped with pain and despair everywhere. You look. Rivers overflowing to extinguish the burning world. You can tell that soil scorched by such fire will never bear fruit again. The God's given vision demands to be heard, demands to be prophesied to the world, but only a priest may speak to the twins and for the twins. Will you keep it inside, or will you step onto the path the twins have revealed to you? Somebody shoves you in the back and you snap out of the vision. You turn around to see a small but decisive troop of commoners moving quickly through the crowd. They are led by Sofia. As soon as she sees you, she signals to them to stop. So you're here too, going to rush to college, are you? Can't you see it already? The laws cannot be trusted. They gave you the right to study here just to throw you a bone. One day going gets tough, your masters will take it all away. It is time for you to decide. We are the lotless. We are not putting up with this system any longer. We will fight for a new world. Are you coming with us, or are you going to submit to them? There are students and professors locked inside the college. Who knows how long Monroe will maintain this siege? And what if they start slaughtering people? Neither group of nobles will care what happens to them. We're going to go inside and pull them out. Come with us if you're ready to take control of your own destiny. So you've got three factions here: the nobles, who we can lead the charge with, the priests, who we can help restore order, or the lotless. The tension in the square is palpable and the situation is about to implode. Students, commoners, nobles of the mantle, followers of the new faith, all of them are gathering their forces to move on the wall of soldiers. They expect the nobles to let them through en masse. Surely they won't start a massacre. The lotless, led by Sofia, prepare to break through the siege to rescue the people in the college, and all the while the priests preach peace to both sides of the conflict. The college is your only way into the nobility. Only you can fight for your new lot and fulfill your duty to your family. You can organize an offensive strong enough to get into the college and thus seize your lawful right like a true nobleman. Yet the revelation about the wrath of the gods still pulses in your mind. Once revealed, this vision will take you on a different path, standing with the priest and preaching what you have just seen, warning all of the dire danger on the path of warring estates, bringing the twins' word to the people and guiding them to salvation. Could this be your new lot? Sofia and the Lotless, they expect you to join their struggle. They're waiting for you to cast off the old ways and the eternal yoke of subservience. If you choose this path, you will not change your lot and your suffering will continue, but your suffering might just change this world. This is the moment. Your future will be decided here and now. So we can follow the Lotless, preach our revelation, and as you can see, we're nailing that. We're 6 ahead in eloquence and 9 ahead in theology. We can break into the college. So we're going to obviously preach the revelation. You preach the twins' vision to the people. We are joining the Inquisitor path. The will that guides you now is beyond your own. There is no point in resisting it. The twins speak through you now. You have to follow the will of the twins, you must. You must tell everyone how close they have brought themselves to the point of no return. You walk up the stone steps. Raise your hands and start speaking loudly. Through the din of the mob, the clanging of steel and the preaching of priests, your word still reaches the ears of the people. There will be a dreadful fire in the city of the Silver Tree. In its flames, the ancient order will be lost forever. The gods' wrath will be upon the empire, and the land shall be soaked with blood. Their judgment will come, followed by the death of all that lives. The last thing that the world shall see will be the twins' face, shedding bloody tears for their beloved creations that have gone astray. Such is the world's faith, yet it is not too late to change it. As you utter the last words of the revelation, you grow numb and rigid as the vision leaves you. There's a crowd around you now. They heard your every word. They heard the twins speaking through you. A hooded man dressed in a black cassock appears before you. He bears the silver seal of the Inquisition. He is accompanied by 2 warriors wearing heavy armor covered in sacred symbols. Oh dear. Seize this pretender. He dares to preach in defiance of his lot. They grab you by the wrists, gag you and throw you into a dark carriage. It takes you to the Inquisition Ward by the great temple of the twins. A week of silence. This is the Inquisition's punishment for laying claim to the lot of the clergy. You are locked in a tiny cell, a small room normally fit for prayers. The inhuman strength you just felt is gone. You are utterly exhausted. The next week is a blur. You lose track of the day and night, of dream and vision and reality. And in those visions, and with your eyes, you see the silver tree growing through the walls and floor and ceiling of that tiny prayer cell. Then, finally, the door opens. They take you outside. You face a thin priest with a shaved head and a piercing gaze. You recall his face. He was the man who stopped Patriarch Luke's sermon. Jeremiah Haig. Oh no, Father Ulrich, sorry. Good to see you, Brante. My name is Father Ulrich. Your penance is over, and it is a joy to see how you accepted it. Please understand, that penance was for you as a commoner, for such prophecies of warning are the lot of the clergy. But I heard your words there in the square. The twins spoke to their servants through you. That's interesting, he wasn't as conservative as he could have been. You came to the college seeking education and a noble title, yes? Its doors will open soon, in no small part due to the efforts of Cornelius Tempest. But that is not your path. What you saw, young Brante, was a revelation. I can see why you had to preach, even in defiance of your lot. But truly understanding the will of the gods is no simple task. It is something you must be taught to do. Your future is at the seminary. I can see you are ready to become a priest. The gods themselves have chosen this path for you. I will keep a close eye on your progress, Jordan Brante. You walk out of the Inquisition Ward, relieved. The great bell of the great temple rings, echoing over the capital, and you feel a great union with this sound. It resounds within you, it courses through you, it brings clarity of purpose. Before your mind reacts, your lips are already whispering a prayer. This is it. This is your path. The Divine Seminary is right by the great temple, its doors always open, and you enter those doors. The teachers will test you in several days. Before that day comes, you must live in a prayer cell at the seminary. When the day comes, they put you to the test. A priest examines you on your knowledge of the prayers, the works of the prophet Ezekiel, and the signs of the Great Descent. In your responses, you mention the silver tree in your hometown. You mention being at its very roots. The final question comes, what brings you here? The wish to see and understand the will and love, and the law of the twins, you reply. The priest nods at your words, satisfied. You are now a student at the Divine Seminary. This is now your new home, and the place where you will prepare to receive your new lot. You will become a priest. By the law of the Empire, you cannot inherit family property or titles. You are to carry the word of the twins into the world, from this moment forth and until true death takes you to the hereafter. So that leaves Stefan and possibly Nathan to be the heirs of the Brante family. That's a big decision made there. Path of the Priest. You enroll in the seminary hoping to become a priest and assume the lot of the clergy. Who knows what our parents will say? What will Tomas say? Speaking of friendships. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your home. A young man dressed in the uniform of a military academy greets you by the door. It takes you a moment to recognize Tomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Brante, hey, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep low-born folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He is beaming with pride. You invite him in and chat while you pack. Tomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. I made it into the top 10, can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring in the sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Anisalt. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's a quick march to a noble title. How about you? You tell Tomas about what happened over the past few days and the path you have chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize that you may never see each other again. You know, Brante, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, both the rings and their wearers will always remain close to each other, no matter where faith takes them. What do you say? The two of you grew up side by side. Tomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever, no matter what happens? 2 rings made of plain brass lie in his open palm. We can't swear an oath of friendship. Wow, interesting. If you wear these rings, you'll be bound by ties of friendship for the rest of your life. Why can't I do that? Oh, I can't do that as a nobleman. That's interesting. I can take the ring. Oh, it's the same thing actually. We get bond of friendship. That's good. But only because our friendship is 3, just on the dot. We keep things as they are, which we remain friends, we get willpower, or we can end the friendship. No, we won't be doing that. Oh, that music is so sad. In the noble playthrough, I swore an oath of friendship. And it backfired. I mean, I didn't care, but it backfired because things happened with him. But do I want to do it in this turn? I will do. I'm going to take the ring. The 2 of you have been friends for a long time. It seems unthinkable that your friendship could ever end. Or should I keep things as they are? I'm taking the ring. You take one of the rings from his outstretched palm. The 2 of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. Even though your paths in life may diverge, nothing will ever tarnish your bond. You are ready to preserve your friendship in brass forever. You put the brass ring on your pinky, a perfect fit. Tomas does the same. He starts beaming again. Now we're friends forever, for all eternity. We gotta celebrate this. Come, I know a place. I gotta show you. Tastiest meat I've ever tried, Brante. My treat. Now we're bound by friendship. Your friendship is strong enough to stand the test of time. The 2 of you go to a noble salon by the square of Emperor Severin, surrounded by tobacco smoke and mead bottles. You wag your tongues, recall the days of your adolescence, and make plans for the future. Nobody knows what could be waiting for you, but you promise you will never lose sight of each other. Bond of friendship event has happened. You and Tomas form an unbreakable bond of friendship. I just couldn't bear ever making the decision to send him away and severing ties. Maybe I'm being over idealistic by making a friendship and bond. Now this will be interesting. Year 1135, fall, a letter from home. After deciding to enroll in the Divine Seminary, you write back home. It isn't an easy letter to write. Father sent you to the capital to enroll in the college, but who could have predicted Archduke Monroe's assault on the college, or the revelation that found you here? Your family replies quickly. You receive their letter in just a week. Father is not happy with your choice, just as you expected. My son, I realize that these are difficult times in the capital. Nobody expected an attack on the college. Had you been more firm, you could have upheld your right to study there. Cornelius Tempest will ensure that the college opens again, yet you have already rejected the nobleman's lot. It seems your grandfather was right. But your choice is made, so follow it and study to become a priest. I did not send you to the capital for this, but I accept your choice. Oh, I love our father. Mother, on the other hand, supports you eagerly. My dearest son, I am so proud that you have chosen to follow your destiny, even if it means going against your father's expectations. I always knew you were born to carry the twins' word in the world. This is as it should be. Nathan echoes mother's sentiments. The path of the faith may be even more noble than the path of a noble. I'm going to the seminary in Anningsot like you. We're going to live the same lot, you and I. You always show me the way. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. You're not surprised to learn that Stefan and Gloria are disappointed in you, each for their own reasons. How could you defy Father's will? It cost him so much time and money to send you to the capital, but alas, what can we do? It's the lot of the clergy is your destiny, and so be it. We as a noble lot will attend to our family's future from now on. I wanted you to find your own way, you know, and you defied Father's will, all to bend to the will of the church. I hope this new lot fits you well. Mam's maxed. Nathan's almost maxed. Father is indifferent to us. Surprised Stefan and Gloria didn't change. So we start a new journey in the seminary. Year 1135, Chapter 3, Searching for the Truth. How's our family doing actually, just quickly? We're aiming for unity in this playthrough, not for reputation or wealth, so we'll see how that turns out. Searching for the truth. Lessons at the seminary start early in the morning. Before the lessons come 2 prayers, one privately in your room, then a communal prayer in the refectory. The morning bell eases you from sleep in the morning. You adjust to the new routine more easily than you expected. The seminary students are quite numerous. You have counted more than 30 young adults studying with you. They are both boys and girls, but the girls already cover their hair and keep everyone at a distance. Most of the time the boys and girls study separately until a lesson is of particular importance. The classroom is vast, and the boys and the girls sit separately, watching the aged, unassuming teacher with rapt attention. His name is Father Jeremiah Haig. He writes a word in large letters on the blackboard, Ezekias. It is a name you know well. Ezekias was the disciple of the twins, the elder's favourite. He wrote the 2 books that laid down the teachings of the twins. The first book tells of how the twins are will and law and love. The second book tells of the lots and how each of these 3 estates is granted its own lot. For the entire first semester you will study only these 2 books, for they are the foundations of the faith. Father Jeremiah gives a passionate lecture about Ezekias and describes his life. His words are filled with reverence. After all, Ezekias surely was second to none when it comes to understanding their divine providence, except the potential prophet-to-be. After a dozen days in the seminary, as a student, you hear a rumour. Luke, the Patriarch of Arknia, is about to come here and the teachers are preparing themselves. Father Jeremiah informs you of the Patriarch's arrival a few days later. It is a tradition that every year the Patriarch of the capital province personally teaches a class for the first-year students in the seminary in Eterna. The lesson in question will be held in 3 days. We teachers are aware that many students are too preoccupied with their current studies to attend this lecture, but I assure you, you will not attend this lesson. It will not affect you in any... But I assure you, should you not attend this lesson, it will not affect you in any way. The students exchange wary glances. Skipping class is normally grounds for harsh punishment. This uncharacteristic mercy is only a few words away from saying you ought to skip the lecture. Your curiosity is piqued. What is making the seminary teachers treat the Patriarch's lesson like this? Perhaps you should hear what he has to say for yourself. You decide to attend the lecture. He's also an adherent of the new faith. The day comes. The lecture hall is half empty. There are several teachers in the hall as well, keenly eyeing every student who has chosen to attend this lecture. A few minutes behind schedule, Patriarch Luke arrives. You recognize his broad shoulders and thick brown beard right away. His eyebrows are thick too. are thick too, and brown. Half-squinting eyes gaze out from under them. He greets the students with a smile and begins. The air in this seminary is so inspiring. There was a time when I, too, studied the teachings of the twins within these walls. My mind was overflowing with questions, but I found answers to only a few of them. I believe that many among you find little satisfaction in the answers that have come down to us from the faraway past, and I believe that you will yet find the answers that eluded me. More than 1,000 years ago, the twins came to our world. They brought us knowledge. After true death, each of us shall face divine judgment and retribution, and the faith of each of us in the hereafter depends on the righteousness of our worldly lives. You are students of the seminary. You are now studying the teachings of Entails, the foundations of our faith. This student of the elder twin lovingly assembled all their words, all their guidance, and brought it to us who live in the present. But how true is it that the lots, the bonds that hold our present society together, were indeed established by the gods? There are whispers from the teachers' seats. They are not happy with these words, but none of them sees fit to interrupt the patriarch. Apart from the written work of Entails, there is no other proof that the twins established the lots and told all people to follow them. While they were present in this world, neither the elder nor the younger ever mentioned separating people into 3 estates. The twins only told us of the judgment we shall face in the hereafter, and not of the laws by which they will judge us. I mean, if the gods could enter into this world, I don't see why they couldn't just tell us what they want us to do, but maybe that will be answered. That being said, I will ask you a question, the very question my brethren fear so much. Is there not a chance Entails was in error, for no mortal man is free of error, and is there not a chance we are all in error by repeating his words? Instead, would it not be more sensible for everyone to interpret the teachings of the twins individually? Perhaps the solution in the teachings of Entails was right for Entails himself, and not for all of us. The teacher's displeasure grows louder and louder with Luke's every word. Finally, Father Jeremiah grows indignant enough to interrupt the lecture. This profane speech must end. How can a man of your rank be so imprudent and irresponsible as to confuse young people with such ungodly heresy? You will find that no soul in this very hall will ever doubt the truth as it is written in the sacred books. To this, Patriarch Luke smiles again. I am a mortal man, like Saint Entails, so I may be in error as well. If this is indeed so, and no student of the seminary shares my concern enough to dedicate a paper to the questions I have asked, then I will curtail my dangerous speech, so as not to confuse these bright young souls. But if perchance you are the ones in error, if one of these bright young souls does in fact share my concerns, then my lectures on my outlook on Entails and his writings will continue. Oh, here we go. The patriarch leaves. For a time the teachers converse in low voices. Then Father Jeremiah casts a watchful eye over the students and rises. It is natural for young people such as you to face the eternal truth with doubt, and have words you have heard may have sown themselves among those youthful doubts. But listen to what I am about to say. There is no place for such impiety in the life of a true priest. Heed my words, all of you, and consider the danger well before you allow such dangerous thoughts into the temple of your mind. There can be no doubt that the Patriarch of Arknia could never call the true faith into question. However, youths such as yourself, who are only beginning their service to the twins, may easily be led astray by such ideas. So be mindful of your thoughts and doubts, and weed out any impiety, for the path of heresy can only lead to the eternal suffering. You return to the monastic cell in which you live. The Book of Entails. The books of Entails are right there on the shelf. You open the second book and run over the words about the lots. These words are the truth of truths. You learned them by heart when you were very young. How could anyone ever doubt them? Yet you cannot deny that there is at least one truth in Patriarch Luke's words, and this truth is gnawing at your mind. Entails was indeed a mortal man, and as a mortal man he could have been in error. He could have gotten it all wrong. These thoughts fill you with doubt. Nice, that's what we like to see. All options open. So, we can seek comfort in prayer. You seek solace and unity with the will, the law, and the love of the twins. We can support Patriarch Luke, which sets us on the destiny of we become a shield of the new faith. Eloquence goes up, diplomacy goes up, willpower goes down. Or we can reject the doubt and strengthen our belief, and we become a shield of the old faith, giving us the extra theology we so crave and manipulation. But no, we are going to support the new faith. That scar from what happened with her grandfather has told us that the lots can't be correct. We are going to support Patriarch Luke. 2 patriarchs, 2 heads of the order, are saying this might not be true. That's incredible. Every man makes mistakes. Anyone can misinterpret or misunderstand something. This notion burns in your brain so uncomfortable it hurts. Pursued by this thought, you flee to the seminary library in search of answers. You painstakingly pore over book after book. The accounts of Isatías' life are inconsistent and often contradict one another. One thing is mentioned in each of them, however. He was a disciple of the elder, and he transcribed the will of the twins. What about the younger? No book in the library ever casts doubt upon this. And so you begin researching this on your own. The first thing you do is visit the Library of Eterna, the largest of them all, large enough to find a different outlook on Isatías' life, and in the end you do find it. It turns out Isatías based the concepts in his writing upon worldly laws, the division between estates and classes, and the laws of the empire, for the twins had pronounced it the heavenly kingdom. Therefore, any critique of the divine lot must be sought in the laws of the empire. By the end of the semester, your research paper is done. You hand it to Father Jeremiah. You have a number of theses. Nobles of the mantle are ordinary people who have decided to change their lot. Priests cannot have families or bear children, and any commoner or noble may elect to accept the lot of the clergy. The differences between estates and classes are becoming blurred, as are the boundaries that separate the lots. Estates may change, and so the lots may change, and new ways to change one's lots may soon appear. You back this notion up with the growing authority of industrialists among the commoners. Some of them are wealthier than the nobles of the mantle, or even the nobles of the sword. They manage factories, and so they wield power like a noble would. Bit by bit, word by word, you prove that the words of Isatías are not unquestionable. In fact, they must be questioned. The empire is changing, people's lives are changing, and so the divine law must change as well. The lots are already being defied in our ordinary lives left and right, you conclude. So it is sensible to preach them so fervently without turning a blind eye to the changes taking place around us. Father Jeremiah grows furious as he thumbs through your paper. He rips it apart and punishes you for showing a weakness of faith. Oh dear. Patriarch Luke will continue to hold yearly lectures at seminary, but you are barred from attending his lectures ever again. You have no free time now. You spend every day at the scriptorum transcribing the teachings of Isatías, page after page, book after book. Shield of the New Faith has happened. You side with the new faith and support the transformation of the church. We are the new prophet, possibly. Whew, that's not an easy decision to make. I thought Jeremiah was going to be quite cool, but it doesn't seem he's in the best of form. So we'll finish with this. Year 1136, winter, the trial of the 50. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favour of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the noble estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict: forced labour in the lines of Margla and Ilaria for regular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. We're borderlining going to get executed if we keep going with the new faith. You remember the woman. Her name is Annie Siren. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she's about to leave this world forever. Annie Siren takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims, and others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and several dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent from the crowd. So the struggle of power swung back to the nobility. They've regained a bit, and discontent is where we're sitting at right now again. They've quelled discontent. We're getting closer to peace. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know how you're feeling about the decisions I'm making. Would you have sided with the old faith or the new faith? And I will see you all in the next episode. Take care and have a good day.